This is the weekly video cast for astrology. I'm Naomi Bennett, your host, and my website is learnastrologynow.com. We always review the prior week since it's a written record, so you can review the former forecast against what's actually happened. And so we still have ongoing floods in Pakistan. What's very interesting is that we have now a Venus-Mars conjunction in Libra, which is diplomacy, which is having your enemies become your friends and your friends become your enemies. And so here we are leaving Afghanistan, at least for the troops that are considered um, um, warriors, although we still have big forces that are occupying, but we're being invited to invade Pakistan to help them with the relief because the floods are affecting 20 million people, over 2 million acres, and it's considered one of the biggest natural disasters ever in history at this point. And then in comparison, look at Canada, who's our friend, and now they are making claims to the Arctic waters, which puts them in direct conflict with the United States and Russia. And so Canada, our friend, is becoming a bit of our enemy. And so it's a very interesting turn of events with this Mars conjunct Venus in Libra to see that. And then we have a few other freaky things that have come up. The Cardinal Climax that emphasizes the Pluto, which can deal with war or extreme events, extreme weather, which is what we're having, or it can also deal with personal projects, pioneering efforts, and children. Is that we have two very odd news events. One, China announces that they've arrested 6 more people from the tainted milk scandal that happened in 2008. They had already arrested 41. And if you don't remember, that scandal had tainted milk from 22 dairies that was supposed to be destroyed. Instead, it was saved and resold, and it killed 6 infants and made 300,000 babies ill in China. So they have uncontrolled problems with greed in their products. That's why it's always questionable if you eat any products that are made with Chinese foods. At least that's my opinion. And then there was an odd little story that in California that people were cleaning out a basement in LA and opened up a trunk from the 30s and found 2 dead fetuses, probably from illegal abortions in the 1930s. And so that's just that little anomaly of death with children from the past comes up. And in addition with other weather issues, China had more mudslides, and they have had a total since August the 8th of 1,300 people dead from mudslides, but they've had drastic rains just like Pakistan. So this is definitely an issue with very extreme weather this year, and I would attribute that to the Pluto grand square with Uranus opposition Saturn that has been going on now for 5 weeks. But the intensity is diminishing, and so are these disasters that have been occurring. I'm going to end the video now because we are going to go on to the chart of the week, and I've already explained the nature of the aspects for this week in the next section of this video. Have a good week. It's an intense period with your family, friends, and relatives. It can be good sexually, but it can also mean that you can have arguments and disagreements with people that are closest to you. And I'll sign off and go on to the next section, which is on the exact aspects by day for the week. The chart for this week shows that we are still under a fading cardinal climax that involved Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, and Pluto, which has definitely affected very extreme levels of weather across the world. It is fading now, but it's still in force. What is more prominent this week is Sun opposition Neptune, and that usually brings, particularly in news events, a sense of falsification, of illusion, of deception, but also creativity. So you could see very good creative forces occurring, but that won't hit national news. I would say the best description for this week is not only deception and creativity, but also one of speculation, of being able to take risks, of promoting oneself and one's personal projects and business, and a very intense period of romance, of sexuality, but it can also flow on the other side where you can have very intense relationships with family members, where you can have arguments with each other, but then if you can get past that, you could have very intense sexual relationships. So on a personal level, it can be one of great creativity, of being able to promote yourself, of being able to take risks and have intense personal relationships. But on a national or world level, we're more likely to see difficulties in monetary problems. We could see conflicts between nations, and yet there can be some cohesion with others where you adhere to your own kind, that you're more attuned to your personal associations in world events. If we look to the nature of which is emphasized each day, on Sunday it's about being responsible and taking care of business. On Monday, the sun moves into Virgo, so we're much more about taking care of the details and being socially responsible. The moon is in Aquarius that day, so we're more likely to be creative and loose in our ideas. On Tuesday, the moon joins Neptune, so this is the strongest emphasis of the artistic, but also of deception. So be careful of making any commitments that day. And then on Wednesday, the moon moves into Pisces, which is much more emotional, and again, emphasizing the creative and the artistic, but also the deception. Wednesday, the moon is still in Pisces, and Thursday is important because the moon not only in Pisces, but it is conjunct Uranus and Neptune. So this can emphasize definitely technology and the creativity, the speculative part is exact on Wednesday and Thursday, and then on Friday the moon winds up aspecting Pluto. It is in Aries, and that is the strongest for speculation. So be sure and watch the stock market, watch the speculation in the stock market on Friday. More than likely, the national news events that telling you that everything's okay with the Federal Reserve is probably a gross exaggeration. I think a lot is happening behind the scenes that we have no idea about. That won't probably come out until late September. And then I would say that on Friday, Saturday are wonderful aspects for romance, for dating, for being social with others. But when it comes to family relationships with spouses or parents, there can be arguments and additional intensity. But overall, it's a much better week than we've had for the past month. So this is Naomi Bennett from LearnAstrologyNow.com signing off and wishing you the very best.